News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Friday afternoon to end the trading week. Stocks are down 10% in the 2 days since President Trump announced tariffs, sparking concerns that the global economy will tip into a recession. We bring you the closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 lost 322 points today. NASDAQ lost 963 points. The Dow is down 2,232 points. The 10-year Treasury yield is right at 4%, and the 2-year yield is at 3.67%. President Trump says this would be the perfect time for Fed Chair Jay Powell to cut interest rates. Powell says Trump's tariffs and their impacts on the economy and inflation are, quote, significantly larger than expected. But he adds the Fed is still in a good position.
Our monetary policy stance is well positioned to deal with the risks and uncertainties we face as we gain a better understanding of the policy changes and their likely effects on the economy.
Still, Powell says there's a lot they don't know yet.
While uncertainty remains elevated, it is now becoming clear that tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. The size and duration of these effects remains uncertain.
Chair Powell told a conference in Virginia it's too soon to say what the appropriate path would be for monetary policy. Diane Swong is chief economist at KPMG. She tells Bloomberg they've adjusted their economic forecast call.
We have. In fact, we have now moved to a little bit worse than our worst case scenario, and that's because the tariffs now are likely, if they, even with some rollback and some negotiation, they could easily hit the highest level since the early 1900s. That, with more retaliation, would get us into a recession.
KPMG chief economist Diane Swonk on Bloomberg Television. Stephen Marin is chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors and tells Bloomberg after initial discomfort, the tariffs should work.
Of course, there's going to be some market volatility on the back of the president's historic actions. Look, the tariffs are designed to redress trade deficits, but there is a nice side effect, which is they raise a lot of revenue. To provide further tax relief while deregulating the economy and making it easier to invest higher in America to create an economic boom.
The chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Stephen Marin, on Bloomberg Balance of Power. Nintendo says it's delaying pre-orders for the new Switch 2 because of the tariffs. A spokesperson says the pre-orders will not begin on April 9th as originally planned, but it is sticking to its original launch date of June 5th. In fact, billions of dollars worth of acquisitions and initial public offerings are on hold because of the trade war and its impact on the global economy. Chime is delaying its IPO. So is fintech company Klarna and the ticket platform StubHub. M&A deals like Saint-Gobain's sale of its auto glass unit and KKR's takeover of Gersheimer AG are also on hold. And President Trump has extended the deadline for TikTok. TikTok had to divest its operations as soon as this weekend or risk being banned in the U.S. Trump posted on social media that he'll give the China-based company an extra 75 days to agree to a deal to sell TikTok's U.S. operations to an American buyer. TikTok parent company ByteDance confirmed it is in discussions with the U.S. government about plans to keep TikTok running in the U.S. The March jobs report is a huge upside surprise. Bloomberg's Michael McKee with those numbers.
228,000 after revised lower 117,000 the month before. Ordinarily, you'd say that offsets a lot, but given the situation now, this is going to have some repercussions for the Fed.
Bloomberg's Mike McKee tells us unemployment rose to 4.2% from 4.1%, and average hourly earnings rose to 3.8%, less than forecast. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer expects the job market strength to continue.
I'm going to be on the ground starting this weekend in Pennsylvania talking to the American worker. I want to know what they're doing, what they care about, and I will report and advise the president on the positivity there, and we're going to start to grow this economy as we build the workforce here in America, and we're going to see these numbers continue to rise.
Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer. Bloomberg opinion columnist Mohamed El-Arian says this should remind us that the structure of the economy itself is okay.
This number here gives you some confidence that the economy is fine if we can just avoid repeated self-inflicted wounds.
Mohamed El-Arian speaking with Bloomberg Television. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.